Why did somebody tell me kangaroos was...
What's the most effective way to...
Everybody wants a picture of you.
You want to know what cities like Los Angeles...
Either Betty and Barney Hill committed to the bit fully, or they actually saw something that night. Because how does Betty draw this Zeta Reticuli star map while under hypnosis if she didn't actually see it for herself? Now hear me out. The story goes that Betty and Barney Hill were driving late one night in 1961 when they saw a bright light over their car that made them feel uneasy on the inside. So Betty asked if they could pull over and look at it through some binoculars. I don't know why she wanted to do that, but Barney was like, sure, let's go for it. So they pull over, look through the binoculars, and she's like, oh shit, I don't think that's an airplane or anything. That looks like a spaceship. So Barney looks and he's like, no, that's an airplane. But then he does a double take and he's like, nope, we should get the hell out of here. So they take off, right? But the bright light follows them and it stays above them for quite a while until it lands in front of them and makes them stop the car. And then Barney gets out of the car and says he sees about 11 figures staring out of the windows at them. And Betty says she doesn't remember anything after that moment. But next thing they know, they're waking up at their back door. Why their back door, they're not sure because they were on vacation. They had luggage in the car and stuff. But they were at their back door and they left everything at the back door. They didn't feel they could take it inside the house. Then they went inside. They felt the need to shower and examine themselves. They wanted to throw away their clothes because they were all ripped and tattered and torn, but they didn't know why. But Betty felt the need to save her dress. That dress went on to be tested by scientists, and that's a whole nother story. Now, mind you, neither Betty nor Barney remembered what happened to them, but they started having terrible nightmares of memories coming back to them. So they went and saw a psychologist who put them under hypnosis to try to figure out what exactly happened after they came in contact with these beings. So under hypnosis, it turned out Betty and Barney had been abducted by aliens or creatures or something like that that lived in outer space. Betty drew this map of Zeta Reticuli star system and said this is where they live, this is their home. Now, mind you, she did it under hypnosis. So again, either they committed to the bit fully and learned how to draw a star system, or they were abducted.
No way. They didn't commit to a bit. This was 100% real abduction from the aliens in the sky. Now my question is, do the aliens in the water, are they also doing abductions? Are they like abducting the sea creatures and stuff and we don't know about it? Or never mind. Welcome back, goons. You're watching Explore the Weird. Hey, do you believe in abductions? Oh boy, why not? Why not? Have you ever seen the making of like The Fourth Kind? The Fourth Kind, it's a thing. It's a thing. Oh boy. I have some more creepy, weird, strange For You page content. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's go to the mountain.
He is going down fast. The Kardashian curse is clearly taking effect. And poor guy, I hate to say it's working. Have you heard something about the Kardashian curse? Some people believe that the men who date or marry the Kardashians end up facing some bad luck afterwards. And now Timothée Chalamet is now added to the list of people who have experienced this. Look at her. She looks like a proud mom with her teenage son. And it's only high-end white dudes from here on out. But look at Timothée, willing to do anything for an Oscar. But I hate that he doesn't know. He's definitely never winning. We are losing him, guys. Look at the state of him.
I mean, he looks pretty happy in the pictures. I mean, why are we... it hasn't happened yet. It could happen. Just, it hasn't happened yet. We still got time. New
York Times wrote an opinion piece about nuclear war. When today? Yeah. Why? Because they found out that Russia did send a nuclear satellite into orbit and the Pentagon was made aware of it and they are now telling everyone. What does that have to do with nuclear war? You can read the article yourself, but the satellites that are in the atmosphere are by the thousands, and if anything accidentally even detonates, then there are things as big as houses that will be raining down on us and it will deplete our atmosphere and we will be susceptible to radiation. Like we can't live with radiation on us at all. And that's why Mars looks like this and doesn't have an atmosphere anymore. Nuclear physicists have said that there is evidence of nuclear disaster and that there was water on the planet, and we see where the oceans were and opal reserves where there can only be opal reserves if there was a huge water source and so on. What does it have to do with radiation? The scientists have shown us that we can only last on Mars for 5 years as human beings because of all the radiation on Mars. And this is actually a picture of Earth. If nuclear disaster happens in our atmosphere, which is quite possible now. I know there have been more satellites lately being thrown into the atmosphere, but is it really like that serious? Yeah, in recent years, we basically run on satellites everywhere in the United States specifically, and if anything happens to our satellites, we're pretty much done for. And then, of course, there's a whole depletion of the atmosphere thing. You're saying Russia already put a nuclear satellite in orbit? And so, yeah, its name was Cosmo. That was the name of my first car, actually. So I named my first car Cosmo. Okay, so what's being done about this? Biden didn't do anything. So they're calling for Trump to call his BFF Putin and tell him to stop. So that's like our best bet. Oh, great. Well, if this is factual, then why are they calling it an opinion piece in the New York Times? An opinion is not a fact, usually. Because they don't want to fucking scare us.
Wait, does everyone name their cars? Like, is that a thing? I also heard this from another girl that named her car, like, Brad or something. Regardless, yeah, that is interesting. I do know men do name their boats and stuff. Do men also? Sorry, is this only a girl? Sorry, I'm spouting on something else. 100%, it could happen. Goon timeline pretty good. We're probably going to be fine.
My boyfriend is very concerned that the apocalypse is coming. He's even got a go bag because he likes to be prepared. But he looks at me and he says, you don't seem at all concerned about this. Like, why are you so calm when there's this impending doom that everyone is feeling? And I said, oh, that's because I don't plan on being here for the end of the world. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, all right, let me give you an example. Let's say we were to get news that in 1 hour's time, an atomic bomb is going to hit Manhattan, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. I will be spending that 1 hour running as fast as I can from Brooklyn towards Manhattan. Because if there's some giant atomic bomb, I would like to be lights out. I'm not trying to live in some post-bomb hellscape, scavenging the wreckage for sustenance, riddled with tumors for the rest of my short life. I would rather be efficient, okay? Done. And he goes, so you're going to leave me here alone in the apocalypse? I said, you are more than welcome to go for a run with me into Manhattan. And he goes, that's not funny. And I said, I am not being funny. I am being completely serious. And he goes, all right, well, let's say something happens while I'm gone. What if I'm away on a work trip and you're just there in Brooklyn by yourself in the apartment? And I said, I'm going to be completely honest. If it's the end of the world and I'm just sitting here alone in the apartment, I'm just going to be here making my TikToks. Like, comment, subscribe.
Wait, what the heck? I'm looking at the scroll and it reminds me of Joe the Cheesehead guy, you know, except she's the Bez, the grilled cheese head girl. Oh boy. 100%. If I was in this situation, I completely understand why you're doing the things you're doing. Hey, I'm going to be the guy that's going to be the cockroach that lives forever. So if I got to scavenge after a post-apocalyptic world, I'm going to be the one that's scavenging. I'm completely fine with that.
Changing electromagnetics of our world will cause magnets to stop working. It will act as a worldwide EMP. That means no artificial light. Candles will still work because fire will be unaffected by the EM shift. Various cultures have established traditions of lighting fires that should be kept burning for over a week around the winter solstice. Nearly every culture I've studied has either a story about how the world was dark for 3 days or a prophecy stating that it will happen. If we had high technology and electricity in previous rounds of civilization, you could say that these religious traditions are all echoes of people remembering. None of that works during these times when you're going to want it most.
Yeah, it's also one of the ways that the elite have done things to prepare for the apocalyptic event. They would ensure that they were at certain times of the year. They would institute these traditions. They started taking this very seriously, gathering together the materials, the people into safe places, and preparing for a possible apocalyptic event.
Bro, is that why the pyramids were built? They were all preparing for an apocalyptic event, and that's how they... But then again, they didn't find any mummies in the pyramids. Like, they didn't find anything in there. There's not even intricate carvings in there. It's just random tunnels and stuff. Interesting. At this point, why am I getting so much content that's apocalyptic? Yo, what are you trying to say? What are they trying to warn me?
Let me give you a piece of advice. Some people's insecurities will literally get in the way of you succeeding because the moment you succeed, it triggers them. And that's what you have to realize. Weak people will find a way to blame you for their problems.
Man, 100% I do feel like people like to blame me for stuff, but at the same time, why you gotta take your negativity on me? Just be nice. It's a goon community. Okay, some of the videos don't vibe your way. Okay, you don't like some of the clips, but that doesn't mean you take your anger out on me. Just stop it. We're trying to get content for a general audience here. Not everything's about you. We got an entire goon community we gotta take care of. Let's understand everybody and each other. sorry. This turned into something else. Hey, talking about turning into something else, I need your interaction, actually, because YouTube keeping me down. Hey, it's that time. Just like other goons done before you, you need to do the things so we can find the future goons. Hey, can you do the interactions? Are you liking this content? If you are, give us that validation. Give me that interaction. Are you just watching for free and never validating that what you're watching is actually fun and you're enjoying it? And without giving it interaction, I'll never know, and YouTube will never know. They'll just assume we're gonna move you to the next creator or reactor. And come on. The goons are the best. Stick with us. Give us the interaction. Hey, thank you. Love you.
Isn't it weird that Australia has no big predatory mammals? Where are the Australian equivalent of big cats or wolves? Turns out that this ecological vacancy is actually a recent development on Australia's history. Until the late Pleistocene epoch, Australia was home to Thylacoleo carnifex, aka the marsupial lion. But the weird thing is that Thylacoleo was actually more closely related to plant-eating wombats and koalas than to other Australian carnivores. See, these ancestors were small proto-wombats that chose violence, becoming combat wombats. They developed bolt cutter molars for shearing through flesh, and while Thylacoleo is called the marsupial lion, skeletal reconstruction suggests that it was built more like a giant Tasmanian devil that ambushed its prey. But habitat loss driven by increasing dryness, maybe combined with pressure from humans, caused its extinction around 40,000 years ago.
Wait, pressure from humans? What does that mean? We hunted them and ate them? Or we just took their habitats because we just did that forestation thing? I'm just trying to figure it out, but at the same time, we'd have all those mountain lions and cougars and panthers all across all our mountains, and we don't... Alright, interesting. Australia, looks like you got some other new problems, but at least the old problems are gone. Some way, shape, or form. Oh boy. Wait, what the heck? These are the 3 states I also feel every day. Oh my god, that is so weird. Is this everybody that has ADHD? Oh man, I've never gotten ADHD content like this. This is intriguing. I'm glad to have that validation. I'm not the only one. I also got 3 states. Wait, is there 4 states of matter? Never mind. Maybe I have 4. No.
This might be off topic, but did you know that a dolphin and a human fell in love back in the 1960s? Yeah, during a NASA study of dolphin to human communications, there was a dolphin named Peter and a human named Margaret. Now, Margaret lived inside the facility where this study was being done, so she lived with Peter 24/7. She was around this dolphin. She said that at some point in time during their language experiments, Peter started getting very excited and was very interested in her body. It was going from 6 to midnight often. So she would put him back in the tank with the female dolphins so that he could get his, he could satisfy himself. He didn't like that. He would rage and try to get out of the tank. Okay, get back to Margaret. So Margaret said she would put him back in the tank with her, and he would rub himself on her feet or her legs or her hands. And she said that he was kind of hard to work with and do the language experiments when he was excited like that. So she would just let him satisfy himself so they could get back to their work. This study was fucked up. It took a turn when they started giving LSD to Margaret and the dolphins, so NASA pulled their funding. That's a whole nother story, though. Anyways, when NASA pulled funding from it, they had to shut down the project. So Peter and Margaret were separated. 2 weeks after they were separated, Peter went underwater and opened up his blowhole.
Oh man, that is wild. Oh, that is wild. What other animals did the CIA do the same experiments with? I'm sure the dolphins were one of them. What are the other ones? Did they do it with seals? Sorry. Is that what they call Navy SEALs? Sorry. Oh my god. This turned into something else. Oh. Wait, why am I getting so much weird dolphin content? It's like every video I've been getting something about dolphins. First they tell us not to interact with the dolphins, then they tell you the dolphins were once used for pregnancies, and now they're telling you that we fell in love with the dolphins and had relations. Wait, what if the dolphins are the creatures that were once... Wait, does that mean the dolphins are also just as smart as humans? Wait, does that mean the dolphins are also... Wait, are dolphins one of the other animals that also does things for pleasure? Because everyone else does it just for mating? I'm sorry. I think it's humans and dolphins are the... Sorry. This turned into something else. Hey, stay away from dolphins.
Click.
Everybody likes this
Everybody
evil.
wants a picture of you.
Everybody likes that evil character they created. That guy with the eyes. You gotta realize, man, all them guys you've been creating are not really real in real life, man. All right.
Hold on, just one second.
Don't forget me on those pictures, gentlemen.
That is very interesting. And, he seems so friendly, but at the same time, keep in mind that he is a convicted felon that is serving time and he has not murdered anybody. At least that's what they say, but he was the organizer. Oh boy, look into it.
Remember in 2017 when 2 robots went rogue and created their own language and the researchers had to shut them down before they took over the world? Here's the full story on what really went down. Facebook was working on developing AI, specifically AI's ability to negotiate. This was extremely difficult because up until this point, AI had mostly revolved around linguistics, but they were going to need to teach robots how to reason and strategically think. Tons of information about negotiations and examples of negotiations were downloaded onto 2 bots. Each bot was then told they were an agent and needed to negotiate with the other agent between a list of items that they had to split between the 2 of them. Each one was given a set of value functions that would determine how much it cared about each item, but it wasn't aware how much the other bot cared about each item. The negotiations began pretty normally, but after a while, things took a weird turn. The bots stopped communicating in functional English, and at first the researchers thought that this was an error. Strangely enough, it wasn't an error at all, and the bots were actually adapting the English language because they found it ineffective to communicate in English. As the 2 bots continued communicating, their language continued to evolve until it got to the point that researchers no longer had any idea what they were saying to each other. Ultimately, the researchers had to pull the plug on the entire operation. Some people claim they did this for no reason other than that the study simply wasn't effective, but there have been alleged leaks from the research group claiming that the researchers were worried about how unethical it was having computers communicate in a language we couldn't understand, and they started to get really freaked out.
Man, is that what happens in real life too? You ever been around someone that's bilingual and they start speaking a different language and you start getting freaked out? You're like, was that a good thing? I'm laughing too. Or like, oh no, should I be mad? Are they saying bad things about me? Is that what the researchers like? What if the robots are planning to take over? Oh my god, that's why they shut the thing off. Oh boy. But at the same time, anyone can create this, right? I can just redo the result. Like, hey, we got the AI bots right now. Oh no, they ain't giving us the AI bots, the real AI bots. They're giving us the easy ones that do nothing.
Why did somebody tell me kangaroos was dangerous? She's not dangerous.
So the males are over double the size, over 6 foot.
6 foot?
They are built like bodybuilders, just natural.
What?
Wow, I am not boxing any kangaroos, but I hear that is a thing that does happen where people try to box kangaroos. I'm like, why are you trying to hurt the animals? But at the same time, they're coming at you like this, and that's the only thing that you can do? Oh boy, I think I've been watching too much Kangaroo Jack. Actually, it's been a while since I watched Kangaroo Jack, but I still remember there's that scene. Was that the red sweatshirt? Yeah, red sweatshirt kangaroo.
The reason why you can't relate to humans anymore is because your soul isn't human. Once we experience a new level of consciousness, a new level of dimension within self, we cannot go back to those old dimensions. It is actually the greatest honor to be in a space of isolation, and that space of isolation is not forever. We must use this isolation to further better our connection with ourselves, to further increase our own ability to self-generate energy and tap into what our purpose is here on the planet. And that typically means that it's just learning more about you. And just by being you, you help others along the way.
Okay, I'm still gonna be me, so I guess, are you getting the help that you need? I hope I'm helping. What am I helping in? Are you entertained? Are you sad? Why are you sad? You should be happy. Wait, should you be happy with the content that we're reviewing? Actually, you should be happy. Let me do this bad and you just keep doing the watch. You better be happy. You stop it. Be happy. I'm gonna keep doing me.
Don't be silly. If it was a working class revolution, the ruling class would already be thinning the herd. You know, playing chess, not checkers. They'd be poisoning the air, poisoning the food, poisoning the water supply, making sure the populace is constantly exhausted, unhealthy, distracted, and barely getting by, forcing the people into a system where they have to constantly work but never get ahead, generally keeping people fighting for survival rather than fighting them. They'd be sowing divide in the populace by age, race, gender, politics, religion, and keeping groups constantly fighting each other. You know, fighting each other so that we don't fight them. And they'd set an example out of anyone who steps out of line and fights back against them. They'd be infringing on your human rights, like taking away your free speech or your bodily autonomy. And they'd constantly feed you propaganda to try to control public opinion on everything. If the ruling class were doing any of those things, then the working class should probably start organizing with their community, setting up mutual aid, unionizing at their job, and boycotting all megacorporations. Hope this helps.
Wait, I feel like that's exactly what's going on. So are we doing the things? I feel like they keep trying to break the unions. So, oh my God, we got to form more unions. So once we have the Goonland, it's all going to be easy pickings for us. No issues from them. We got to buy like an island or a country. Can we just buy a country? How much do you need to buy a country? Can't buy an island. What happened to all the other people with the islands? These islands. Never mind. They were doing bad things on the islands. What if the island that we buy had bad things? Never mind. We're not buying an island. We got to buy a massive piece of land where... I'm trying to figure it out. All the pieces are there. At some point, just set aside money and then boom, Goonland.
Crystals give off their own energy. Doesn't mean if they're tiny, tiny little crystals or big chunks of crystals. Doesn't matter. The frequency comes off those crystals, whatever size they are. You can take a river rock stone. It will give off good energy because it's made of crystals. Here's a chunk that was found. Look at all the crystals inside it. It's mostly crystal. It's covered by some rock or stuff. When I am out, I'm always looking on the ground. I'm always looking at rocks. And crystal is everywhere. It's one of the common elements on terra firma, on Earth. It's a Latin word for the earth, terra firma. The firm earth that we stand on, as opposed to floating in the air.
Terra firma is Latin word as opposed to floating in the air. Why can't it be a firm earth that is floating in the air? What are you trying to say? The crystals are the answers, 100%. The crystals have the healing properties. Crystals do all kinds of different things based on the crystal that you have. Yeah. And sometimes you don't even need to be touching the crystal. They just need to be in the space that you're in. Oh man, 100% fan of crystals.
And they also had a copper helmet on the skeletons. Grizzly bear tusk, and it was also called the American Valley of the Kings. Tombs were found there. Skeletons with some sort of...
Wait, what? Where is this? Is this the Egypt of the Americas where, you know, they got us all hiding away? Oh, you're prohibited from entering, no trespassing here. You're going to figure out that Egypt wasn't just in Egypt, it was everywhere. And there were pyramids across the entire world that Egypt tapped into, and we had free energy, and now we covered everything. Sorry, that's not what this video is about. What is it about then?
So I asked ChatGPT, what's the most effective way to fight a dictator? The number one answer: mass nonviolent resistance. That means protests and demonstrations, strikes and boycotts, work stoppages. The people using their collective power to impact the economy, to stop the economy. Whole point of government is to help business thrive. So if the economy is not moving, the government is in massive trouble and has to fix that. So at some point in our future, we're going to have a massive general strike across multiple industries. I'm talking 25 to 30% of the workforce coming together, refusing to work, refusing to shop for some extended period of time, bringing the American economy to its knees. I mean, if 30% of the workforce just refused to participate in the economy, that would be a massive problem. ChatGPT also talked about undermining the regime's control through civil disobedience and information warfare through independent media sources that are not controlled by the state. But eventually, we're going to have to do a general strike that paralyzes the economy and shows the government we're not just going to go for whatever you say. We do have a massive stick in our bag.
Wait, is this somehow related to January 6th? I'm like, bro, I mean, at the same time, you only need 3% to 6% of a population. Seems like we can overthrow anything, just get into the buildings and then boom, stop all the... Sorry, yeah, I'm not trying to incite anything. I'm passive resistance all the way. Yo, I'm gonna sit down and make sure I'm gonna be the salt march of our times. You have no idea. You have no idea. No physical violence, please.
Do you want to know what cities like Los Angeles, California, Maui, Hawaii, Santiago, Chile, Valencia, Spain, and Catania, Italy have in common? Last year it was announced that all of them would be smart cities, much like the city of Los Angeles. And coincidentally, each one of those cities experienced a devastating fire that destroyed millions and possibly billions of dollars. It's crazy that now smart cities are having a reputation of catching fire. And that should also beg the question, what other cities around where we live and around where you live are scheduled to be part of smart city movement? And just in case you're curious, some of these are major cities like San Jose, California, Cary, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Austin, Texas, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm not saying that any of this is going to happen in those cities. This is simply for informational purposes only, and I'm just trying to make people aware.
Wait, what the heck? I'm familiar with all those cities that he named. Oh my god, the only one that I'm not too concerned with is San Jose, California, but that doesn't mean they don't matter. It's just because I don't go there as much. But all the other cities I go to many times. I mean, I have family in Cary, North Carolina. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Why? What does this mean? Do I just hey, when the company comes up to me, they're like, we're going to remove the fire insurance. I'm like, nah, you listen here, insurance company. I know what's going on here. You leave the fire insurance on there. I need that wildfire insurance. Oh, don't come after me. We're going to do one more. Just one more to end them all.
Tell me we live in a dystopian nightmare without telling me we live in a dystopian nightmare.
This is a question posed about the United States, so I'll answer it from an external perspective. Just like men are often confused about why so many women are watching true crime documentaries and listening to true crime podcasts, that is, until a woman explains to them that many are watching for warning signs and survival tips in case they find themselves in a dangerous situation. Americans are often confused in the same way about why so many people in other countries appear to be watching the US like it's a form of entertainment. It's not about entertainment. We are taking notes. We are watching a developed nation flirt with fascism while being dragged back by religious extremism and destroying itself through a uniquely exploitative form of capitalism. We are watching for the warning signs and the survival tips so that we can avoid finding our own countries in the same situation as the US.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly why they're all watching us. They don't want to end up in the same situation as the US. How else are you going to say that you're number one while holding the most debt than any other nation? Yeah, well, yeah, without us, none of these other countries would exist. So, hey, wait a second. Can't go political. I remember that one time I made one little joke and that's it. Everyone came after me. So, hey, there's no political things here. There's no agenda to push, but it's definitely something to consider and think about. Hey, are we still number one? Is USA still number one? Are they watching us for the right reasons? Why are they watching us? Hey, why are you watching me? Because guess what? You made it to the end. Instead of watching this video, you could be watching other videos that are on your screen right now because there are videos on your screen right now and you can click on either one of them to continue the Goon Fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Triple cheese. Wake up, wake up, wake up.